So it went on for 2 years, but 2 years is more than 2 years for a dog, until one evening, Palmer saw a dog getting close to its owner. The sight suddenly spurred him on. It was as if his hopes had been dashed, and then a plane landed right next to him, but this time he ignored it. After that, Palmer was devastated. He wouldn't eat or drink, worried about him. The boy called a doctor. The doctor shook his head when he diagnosed him, because Palmer was suffering from a heart condition. He was ready to give his life to his master. There was nothing the boy could do. He could only stay with Palmer. After an unknown period of time, Palmer suddenly heard a familiar voice. He slowly opened his eyes. It was his master calling him. At last, he was waiting for his master to come and fetch him. Palmer stood up and hurried towards his master, but the next moment he was in despair. It was only his imagination. This time he had no strength left. As the rain poured down, he didn't move a muscle, just as the owner who had abandoned him had done nothing. And then the boy came running. He was afraid that Palmer would get sick. He wanted to take him home, but Palmer's heart was already dead. No matter how much the boy held him, he wouldn't leave. The boy was desperate.
Подумать, хозяин бросил. А у меня мама умерла. Семень бросайте.
He took off his jumper to cover Palmer from the rain, and hugged Palmer to keep him warm. Early the next morning, the boy was licked awake by Palmer. This rainy night, they healed each other. It was as if Palmer had been given a new lease of life. He gave half of his life back to his old master, so that he could accept his new master with a whole heart. The boy was overjoyed. He took Palmer home with him. He thought he would always be happy. But then Palmer's old owner suddenly returned. The captain decided to return Palmer to her old owner. How could the boy not? If you really love him, his father said, you have to give him the choice. In the end, the boy chose to let go. Watching Palmer get close to her old owner, the boy left sadly. The captain didn't want his son to be sad, so he approached the old owner to buy Palmer, even if he had to give up everything. But the old owner said he didn't want Palmer back either. But due to pressure from the governor and the media, he had to do what he was told. Otherwise, he would have lost his job. It had come to this. Everyone was at the airport to witness Palmer's the moment of return, including the boy. But as Palmer walked up to the boy, he suddenly stopped. The old owner had to pull him hard towards the cabin. He was about to board the plane, but Palmer turned around and barked at the boy. Even though the old owner kept tugging, he fought his way free and rushed towards the boy, but the guard put his foot on the rope. He was determined not to let Palmer pass. The scene was chaotic. For the sake of the show, the governor came to stop it, seeing his son outside calling for him. This was the moment when the captain made his decision. Just as the plane was about to take off, the power in the cabin suddenly went out. The crew couldn't bear to witness another separation. Collectively, they chose to stop flying. At this point, Palmer looks at her old master with pleading eyes. Eventually, the owner untied Palmer.